Oklahoma at Alabama, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 local kickoff on ABC. Alabama has won 17 straight at home. Oklahoma is, all right, now Jesse, make sure I get this right. Oklahoma is 10-11 away from Norman under Brent Venables. But they're 3-0 this year in true road games. So notice what we did there. We added the Texas game in the first stat category, but I removed the Texas game in the second one because it's not a true road game. It's a neutral site game. So Brent Venables has not lost a true road game this year, and that includes a trip to Temple and Tennessee. So I have got a little nervousness about this game. Why am I nervous? It's not because I'm playing in it, although my national championship pick is playing in it, and that's Alabama. But it's not why I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I am very confident in picking this one. Very confident. And so is the model. And the model and I agree on this. You know what? I'm not nervous. I shouldn't be nervous. We've won money all year with me agreeing with the model. So let's lean into it here. All right, so for Oklahoma, John Mateer has got to give me enough here. He's got to give me enough. I need a better game from him than I got against Tennessee, which sounds weird because they went on the road and they won against Tennessee. They did. They did, but they had a lot of other critical factors tilt their way. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm saying I can't count on that to happen again. So I need better than 19 of 29 for 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 pick. What he did do, John Mateer, being the he, is he did put up 80 yards on the ground. And we have seen several mobile quarterbacks give Alabama fits, so that's got to be a staple of their offensive attack this Saturday. He has not thrown for over 225 since the thumb injury, which hurts because I had a Heisman ticket for John Mateer. One thing that can alter this, though, and I say I can't lean on this, but maybe I should. Maybe I should buy into the idea that Oklahoma's ground game really is finding itself. That offensive line's playing with a different nastiness, according to friend of the program, Gabe Eichert. His words, not mine. Did Teddy Lehman back him up on that? That's what I need to find out. Because if Teddy doesn't agree, I really don't care what Gabe Eichert said. That's a lie. Very, very sweet individual. When it comes to gas stations, he's confused, but he has a good reason to be. It's okay. I understand. But yeah, if that offensive line's coming into its own, a lot of young guys, by the way, sort of coming into their own. They're coming out of a bye week here. They've had Xavier Robinson running for 100 yards per game all of a sudden. Hey, if that shows up, I don't need as much from John Mateer. I still think I need a better game than I got from him against Tennessee. But you'll notice we've gotten a few minutes into this thing now. I haven't mentioned run defense yet. There's a reason why. I don't think it's the biggest thing in the game. I have heard a lot of people talk about this game this week, and their biggest thing I don't think is the biggest thing. The biggest thing, according to most of the free world out there, is Oklahoma's run defense being top 5, maybe the best in the country, against an Alabama team that struggles to run the ball. Oh, man, it's strength on weakness. Yeah, that's why I don't really care. I'd care if Alabama was relying on being able to run the ball. They already don't. I don't care if you shave Oklahoma's defensive profile in half. Bama still wouldn't run it on them. So what are you really taking away from Alabama that they haven't already proven they can function fine without? I'd be more worried if Bama was averaging like 30 yards more on the ground per game, because that would almost lean me into Alabama's depending on running the ball to be able to beat you. Hey, really quick timeout. We'll get right back to the video. Do me one favor. Make sure you're subscribed. It helps us keep the show free. It helps us keep the lights on. It helps us keep doing college football year-round, and we appreciate it. All right, back to the video. They're not. So it's actually a crazy concept here, but in football it makes sense. When your best strength matches up with their biggest weakness and it's a successful team, sometimes that team has just figured out a way to overcome their weakness. Alabama's figured out a way to overcome their weakness and still scale their offense through really extensions of the ground game, but also they throw the ball really well. Now, the follow-up to that can be there's a big difference in you need 5 or 6 to stop the run versus you're consistently stopping the run with 4. And if Oklahoma can do that, then, and I think they probably can, that's when it becomes more difficult. But just on the surface, if you're telling me, man, Oklahoma's going to hold Bama to 55 yards on the ground, so did LSU. So did LSU. Now, you may say, well, Bama only scored 20 in that game. Yeah, if you'll go back and watch it, I think there's a lot left on the table in the past game that didn't necessarily have a whole lot to do with LSU as much as it had to do with Alabama, and I'll mention more on that in a second. So what kind of day do I get from Ty Simpson? How much time is he given to throw? Oklahoma's really good at getting to the quarterback without having to bring numbers, much less when they do bring numbers, and Brent Venables has been known to do such things. How good of a game do I get from Ty Simpson? Because he hasn't had a disaster game. The first game of the year even wasn't really on him. He hasn't had his disaster game. He's had varying degrees of good, better, great. Hadn't had bad yet. Can Oklahoma make him have his bad game? It's the best defensive front he will have seen. If his pass pro breaks down, then you could force him into some uncomfortable throws. You could just turn the ball over. You could force errant throws. You could bat balls in the air, and that could fundamentally change this game. It's hard to predict that happening, but that could fundamentally change this game. If he has adequate time, there will be plays to be made against the Oklahoma secondary. I go back to the Ole Miss game. I go back to the Tennessee game. Now, one of them they won, one of them they lost, but in both of those games, teams threw for over 315 against them, which led us to realize that Oklahoma pass defense statistic was a little misleading. Not a lot, but a little misleading. But it doesn't matter if they harass him all afternoon. Will they? I told you I was confident in this game. I tried to present both sides there. Oklahoma's strength does not take much away from Alabama. Oklahoma's strength of stopping the run doesn't take much away from a team that already doesn't run the ball. The pass defense at Oklahoma is the key in this game. And against the two best passing attacks, the only two passing attacks comparable to Bama this year, they gave up 315 and 393 through the air. It is a do-up spot for Alabama for explosive plays through the air. If you go back and watch the LSU game last week, they won, they covered. There was so much meat left on the bone. Not wildly overthrown or wildly underthrown balls off the fingertips, balls that you think to yourself with an entire week's focus on precision and accuracy probably yield better dividends the following Saturday. Turnover margin on the year, Oklahoma in the 1-teens, Alabama top 10. And this is Oklahoma having to go on the road in one of the toughest environments they'll play in all year. I think Alabama's going to win the game by double digits Saturday. The model thinks that the line is off. Alabama is currently a 5.5-point favorite. A lot of people are terrified about this game. I don't feel that way. I think Alabama is going to win the game and end up handling it. It will not be pretty at all times, but I think fourth quarter, you're turning it on, it's midway through, and you're saying, wow, they found themselves. They found the stuff through the air they didn't necessarily find last week against LSU. Still won against LSU, but didn't find it. I'm going to take Alabama to win. I'm going to take them to cover, and we're going to add this on the Ramen Noodle Express as one of our best bets of the week. We're adding Alabama minus 5.5 in the middle of the show. I feel really good about that one.